This is Lewis Arthur Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted today for the first time to be joined with the voice of BOXXER, Mo. Big Mo, how are we, mate?
I'm good, Lewis, man. Good to see you. You made the trek out to Poland. How have you been?
I've been good, mate. I've been good. All the better for seeing you. You know, we're out here in Poland. Lucas Rzansky versus Alan Babic. A really, really nice, I'll say a bit of a niche one to, not what we're used to, but further development of BOXXER European and, their brand further getting pushed. So a very exciting fight on Saturday night.
Definitely exciting. If you're looking for a technical matchup, this may not be the fight for you. No disrespect to both guys, but they're brawlers. I think it was Spencer Oliver that said, "Not sure if we're going to see a jab, and if we see one, someone might get knocked out." But it's interesting. This Bridgerweight go between is really, with the current timing of everything and with how dominant the cruiserweights are starting to become, it's kind of interesting, the introduction of this weight division. I wonder if maybe if a cruiserweight that's a title contender loses, does he maybe try to put on a couple pounds and move to Bridgerweight? You never really know what's going to happen. But to be here with a local guy from Rzeszów and Rzansky fighting is exciting. The turnout was great for the weigh-ins and for the public workouts yesterday, and it should be a great show.
Like I said, we're here in Poland, and the weigh-in and the workouts and everything was such a great atmosphere. It's good for, and I've done an interview with Ben earlier, and we were saying it's good to also get UK fighters on the card and get them exposed to the European culture, where we've got guys like Jamie TKV, Martin Bacoli, that sort of the boxers fighters fighting on this card in Europe, like we had with Paris as well. Getting that sort of European exposure for them, that's really good positive for the further growth of the UK fighters in general.
Absolutely, and I think boxers and every fight promotion's goal is never to be domestic, and I don't think any fighter's goal is ever to be domestic. If we have the opportunity to go worldwide, that's the plan. And people forget how quickly BOXXER is moving. BOXXER is on an incredible pace right now. Really, they finished their first year last year, and they had Con Brook, they had Shields Marshall, they broke viewership rating records, things like that. And they started this year off with Eubank Smith, and hopefully that rematch comes up soon. And so BOXXER is moving at light speed, which is exciting, and I like to move quickly as well. So it's cool that we went to Paris, did our show in France. We're now in Poland. I think we have some other plans on the horizon, from what I gather. And it's really exciting watching this promotion just excel. Really, I believe that BOXXER is going to be running the boxing market in years to come. I think the team is very strong. They've assembled the A-team when it comes to matchmakers and event operations and people like that, and I'm just excited to play my role.
Absolutely. We'll go on to your role in a minute, but how would you sort of assess 2022 and now going into 2023, sort of about the second quarter now? Obviously in 2022, you just mentioned it there, we had Con Brook, the rise, almost like an Indian summer for Natasha Jonas. So many great stories. How would you assess the year that's gone in 2022 and 2023 so far, would you say, for BOXXER?
I think it's been amazing. And I thoroughly believe, like I said, that BOXXER will be the premier boxing promotion in sooner rather than later. I really believe that. I started with them for Chris Billam-Smith's first fight in Bournemouth last year, at the end of July, I want to say. And so in that time, just looking at Chris Billam-Smith, he sold out his first show, sold out his second show. Now we're going to have him fight for a world title in the stadium in Bournemouth. Undoubtedly going to be a sellout. I think we've already sold like 70% of the tickets, and the fight isn't for another month, right? So that can show the growth as well. We have world champions on our roster now. Shields Marshall was literally a record-breaking event. So I think that it's been amazing what they've been able to accomplish so quickly. I think that the fighters like Ben, I think that the relationship between BOXXER and Sky is very strong. I think that the teamwork is amazing. I know this because I'm one of the few people that kind of gets to work. I work for BOXXER, but on the nights of the show, I almost work for Sky. It's I hold the Sky microphone for Pete's sake, So watching those relationships grow, watching the people that are around it that have come from other organizations or have been around the sport that really can see the vision, it's exciting. It's almost like the team that Ben has assembled is just, it's like the Avengers of boxing, and I think that these young boxers are starting to see it too. Some boxers have chose to come our way, and it's an amazing time. And you know, I come from a business background, and competition is always the best thing for the consumer. So obviously, I love how well BOXXER's doing, but when you look at just the UK alone, we have multiple strong promotions, whether it be BOXXER, whether it be Matchroom, whether it be Wasserman, whether it be Queensberry. What that does is that enhances the market for everyone, and that makes the consumption opportunities for all the fans a lot better. So if we're all competing for the same group of fans, it forces every promotion to put on better fights and to put on as good of fights as possible. I love boxing fans because it's a "what have you done for me recently" thing. We get some fans that go, "Oh my God, I can't believe that BOXXER card. This card is blah 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 blah." Rewind a couple months, we have Eubank Smith, which kills it. So it's it's that constant struggle to keep putting on the best shows possible. But that's a challenge that I like to be a part of.
I suppose, the only disappointing thing with that is we get stuff like on May the 27th when, we've got obviously a great fight in Kody versus Chris Smith, but then we've also got another great fight, north of England with Lee Wood and Maurizio Lara too. It's just frustrating that these cards don't get their own shine, you know what I mean? Whilst competition is good, sometimes it does have negatives, doesn't it?
True, and in a perfect world, you never want the promotions to compete, but when you have this many, or compete on the same night, but when you have this many talented fighters domestically and abroad too, we have international fighters and so do a lot of promotions, but when you have all that going on, and then obviously with how frantic boxing can be with scheduling, it's tough to say, "Oh no, I have this, and I know now I have this, and okay, what about?" It's tough to do. So beggars can't be choosers. I'm just grateful that boxing is pretty strong right now. I come from America where the American boxing market is a little wonky at times. You don't really know who the industry leader is. You don't really know when the good shows are. A lot of the good shows are international shows where they co-promote. So the American boxing market's a little finicky. When you come here, I mean, that's why I love working here. It's just like, whoa, like all this is coming at you, and you have one champion here, you have one champion here. These champions want to fight. You have a co-promotion with these shows. This broadcaster has this promotion. I've always said it's like Game of Thrones, but instead of families, it's boxing promotions. It's awesome here.
Talking about yourself, moving on to yourself, you said your first fight you called for BOXXER was Chris Smith versus Isaac Chamberlain. Talk to me about how that came about. You did mention to me off camera, but how did that sort of come about and that opportunity for you to broadcast your great skills on BOXXER and Sky?
No, I've told the story in a couple different places, but it's all kind of happened pretty quick. I gained a lot of notoriety stateside and across social media, which is globally, for being this younger announcer and for being this new face type of thing. And it all just happened really quick. A couple TikToks went big here and there. People saw me. I used to wear sunglasses in the ring. Reddit, got a hold of that and things like that. But when I started, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to be the best at it. I'm a competitive guy. I want to be that top announcer, and I want to be a part of a show, and I want to help a show be the top show. And so I just kind of embraced it, built this brand around me, found opportunities, ended up doing Eddie Hall versus Hafthor Bjornsson in Dubai a little over a year ago now. And that's actually initially where BOXXER and Sky saw me. They hit me up. I said, yeah, I'm interested, let's talk. And then it just went dead. And I was just like, okay, well, that's gone. And then they hit me back up later in the summer, and they're like, hey, let's do a test run. Would you want to do this as a test? And I go, great. So we did the Bill Smith Chamberlain fight as a test. Ratings did well. Network liked me. Broadcaster liked me. Then they brought me back for Liam Smith's Hassan fight. And then Shields Marshall was supposed to be then the week after. Obviously, it got postponed. And then I did Shields Marshall, and that was like my first big show. And then we're home free. And now I'm in Poland.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be doing too bad of a job. Talk to me about, you just said Shields Marshall. When you're in the ring and you've got the best view of the house, being the big voice, how special is that for you? As a boxing fan, as a combat sports, fan in general, you see guys like Bruce Buffer and Michael Buffer, great announcers who announce great fights, the historic fights, and you became one of them people. You announced a historic fight, which must be a special feeling for you.
It's an amazing feeling to get to do what I do, and my focus is the fans. That's really who I focus on, is creating an environment for people. We put on these shows and these events, and I think sometimes promotions forget about the entertainment value of it, and they forget about everything that surrounds the sport itself. I come from America where football is king, American football, and it's just as much of a show as anything else. There's a lot of lulls in the action because of how the game is designed, so there's a lot of emphasis put on the entertainment value. I think the same general approach can be taken with boxing and is sometimes forgotten. And I think that's why, in America at least, the UFC kind of took over, was they focused a lot on that show aspect of it. And I believe that the announcer plays a pretty big part of that atmosphere component. So when I do my job, obviously from a technical standpoint, I want to make sure everything is right. But at the same time, I want to have this extroverted, this charismatic style to what I do to make people feel comfortable to enjoy themselves. I want people to be comfortable with cheering and having a drink and, having this time, because if they paid money to watch or paid money to get a ticket, then they deserve to enjoy themselves, if that makes sense.
Is there anyone you sort of looked up to? Obviously you could say, the Buffers are the most iconic people, but is there anyone you looked up to as an announcer? And when did you sort of feel like, what, I want to be an announcer? When did that sort of realization come to you?
Yeah, so that it all came to me so I started off as a commentator for local and regional promotions, MMA and boxing. And I saw the announcer, I was like, that's a little bit more my speed. And so I started doing it, and I really enjoyed it. And I had people that had been in the industry for a long time, some coaches, a couple managers here and there that said, hey, you got something here. And looking back, I was terrible compared to what I am now, but I should be my biggest critic. But they said, hey, you kind of got something here, blah, 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 blah. So at that point I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So for that reason, my role models and idols were the Buffers, equivalent. But Bruce and Michael, I think they were both amazing with their own styles. And I think that they fit really well for their own roles, which were very different. And I believe that they're the gold standard. And so my career, which is my kind of approach, was I almost wondered if there was kind of an in-between style that could fit. Because I think maybe Bruce's style isn't perfect for boxing, but maybe introducing a little bit more energy, but keeping the same kind of class and charisma that Michael has. Maybe we can have some fun with this. Maybe we can make something here. And I'm very active in the community. I'm very active with people that talk to me, and I'm always looking at myself as a work in progress. And so I've taken criticism from people, I've taken feedback from people, and I just roll with it, and I make subtle adjustments here and there. That's the fun part of being as relatively young as I am here. You look at a lot of announcers in the industry that have 20, 25, 30 years experience. I did Shields Marshall when I was 26 on year 3. If you don't count COVID, I was on year 2, right? So everything just really happened quick. And for that reason, it's fun, and I'm a work in progress. People criticize me, you fans talk to me all the time. Engage with me, comment on this video. Talk to me, send me a DM, follow me on social media. It's fun. I don't look at myself as being, I'm the announcer and all these fans are here and there's this power distance. We're all in this together. I'm a fan. You're the guys that consume the product. You buy the tickets. I don't have a job without these fans, so let's work on this together. If there's an idea that you have that would sound cool, hit me up. I'm not this person that thinks that I'm looking down on everybody else. I'm just as much of a fan as anyone else is.
Yeah, definitely. You basically just asked my question. I was going to say, how do you sort of deal with that, pressures, and not the pressures, but the social media and that. When you're front and center, you can't really get away from all. You're right in the firing line. So it seems like you deal with that quite well.
Yeah, look, I'm active on social media. That's, I think, a big way where I separated myself early on is just because of the demographic of other announcers in the age. Maybe they're not as active on social media, which is fine. I am very active. I engage in the communities. I comment on things. I talk to everybody. I think I have an interesting relationship with fighters because I was an athlete. I understand what it's like. I'm not a boxer. I don't try to get inside the mind of a boxer because I'm not one. But I do understand competitive athletics. I competed at a pretty high level for a lot of my life. And so I think for that reason, and my age too, I can kind of build a cool camaraderie with the fighters. So I like interacting with them. I like talking with them. And it's just fun. I feel like, I don't know, I think so many times, like people in the industry, they think that like there's, like I said, this power distance to everything. I'm an arm's reach away from people. If you ever come to the fights, I'm talking to the fans, I'm taking pictures with them, I'm asking them if they're having a good time. Like, I don't know, this is fun for me. Don't get me wrong, it's a job, it's a career, I love what I do, but again, like I said, I don't have a job without the promotion. The promotion doesn't exist without people to consume the product. So therefore, everything I do is with the consumer in mind, if that makes sense.
You know, just as we sort of close off this interview, where would you say you know, you might not have this in mind, but, you know, where's the end goal for you? You know, what's your real, you know, real aim that you'd love to do in boxing? You know, when, you know, you reach this and you look back on this interview and feel like, you know, I said it there, and then I you know, I envisioned it and I've done it.
That's a great question, because I've always thought about that. Goal setting is important to me, whether it be big goals or small goals. And for a long time, you know, my goal was to do a big fight. And when I accomplished that with Shields Marshall, and then I did it again for Eubank Smith, and I'll do it again for maybe that rematch. I'll do it again for Dome Smith. Coley will be a big fight. Like, I've done big fights now, so that I can check that off. So now it's about elevating what I do. It's about perfecting what I do. It's about growing BOXXER. I want to help build BOXXER to be the #1 boxing promoter in the world. And I want to grow the sport. I want to introduce new people to the sport. That's a big focus of mine. You know, that's why I've tried to take what I do and cross into other industries with it. I was able to introduce a DJ, you know, a little bit ago, and that's a completely separate market of people that may not consume boxing. But if a few people of that market see what I do and maybe feel an association with it, and they come and enjoy boxing, then we all win. Boxing Social grows, BOXXER grows, I grow, Lewis grows. We all win together. This is a sport.
And he grows as well.
Yeah, right. He grows as well. So it's all good, man. It's a community that's built this sport. It's a community that's going to maintain this sport, and being a leader in the community is really what I care about.
Definitely, you know. Well, Mo, I really appreciate you taking the time, you know. Appreciate you letting me come to the hotel and interview you, man. You know, it's been good to chat to you for the first time, man. And, you know, hopefully, I'm sure BOXXER will keep you on for many, many years to come, and you'll be one of the top announcers, I'm sure of that, man. Thank you.
That's the plan. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate the time, man. As always, I'll see you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow night. Thank you, bro. Thank you.